This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And next time you're planning a trip to Walt Disney World, the buy 4, get 3 free offers out there. Why not have the good travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel take care of it for you? That's right. You don't have to deal with Disney. You don't have to be on hold to book it all. They'll take care of all those details for you, leaving you opportunity to listen to the show. I think it's a win-win. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, September 30th, 2009, and this is episode 624 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hodgford of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, before the show, you had mentioned to me you'd like to do a shout-out, so I'm ready for my shout-out.
So many of you know that we have a really talented cartoonist who has helped do the icons on the show and various artwork that we need. So, and today happens to be his birthday. So a huge shout out to a very talented cartoonist, Bill Keane. No, wait, it's that's the Family Circus guy. Sorry, I meant, of course. No, just kidding. It's Chris Eliopoulos. So Chris, happy birthday.
Happy 60th, Chris.
60th.
Wow, he looks good for 60. Wow.
Chris is a great guy. So very funny too.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Please keep your arms and legs inside the country at all times.
Please keep
Timekeeper.
Israel.
No.
What from the Millennium Celebration?
Yes.
Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
That had. I was on that ride going. You remember the ride?
No.
30 seconds into the ride, I was thinking to myself, my God, this has got to be a joke. This whole thing has to be a Mel Brooks film. Anyway,
what's a film, Scopa?
Oh, Canada.
Oh yeah.
It is.
You say so.
Also joining us on today's show is the fabulous Annette Owens, a manager of customer relations and group services for MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hey, guys. Starting to feel like fall.
It's beginning to look a lot like October.
No, October. Don't go to Christmas yet. Although Disney will be decorated very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say they're probably on it now.
Did you see that? Not, the middle of October. There's a pumpkin and a tree.
It's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions. No, I don't know where Mike Newell is, but we are answering other questions. And we'll start out with a question from Jean-Philippe Paray. He says, I'm a French-Canadian from Quebec City, and I'm a regular listener. I just love the show. I have a comment and a question. My son and my wife have food allergies, peanuts. Let me say that Walt Disney World is the safest place on earth for people with food allergies. At every restaurant, the chef comes out to our table just to be sure that everything is okay, and to explain what they can eat and what they cannot eat. To refer to episode 617, I think, I usually tip more at a buffet restaurant when the server makes sure that everything is fine with the food allergies, and especially when they ask the chef for a real special dessert. My question, though. We'll be attending for the first time Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party on December 1st. I know you can get hot chocolate and cookies for that occasion. Do you know if they have an option for people with food allergies? If not, I will bring something for my son just to be sure he won't feel excluded, and I'll make sure to eat a free cookie just for him.
Eat two. I don't know if they do. I don't remember ever seeing the like a gluten-free cookie line.
I don't remember seeing that either.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
Yeah. Next email is from Mary Blaine and Scope. I'm sure you remember that for the Magic Meets ticket we gave away, we also gave Mary a email fast pass.
That's right.
So Mary is cashing it in.
Okay.
Mary writes, I have not used my FastPass email yet from the auction in June. I was waiting for the perfect question that would be time sensitive to send you guys. Sorry, Matt. But on today's show, you said that there might be an event in 2010 that they are planning, but too many details, perhaps if an emailer bribes me enough. So, if I use my FastPass to ask a question, would that be enticing enough? What if I told you I would do my very first half marathon in January for charity? I already signed up, whatever works. I was very disappointed that I would have to cancel my dates in December to see you guys, pesky flu, and would love to catch up with you guys in 2010. So here's my question. What are you planning in 2010? We don't have to have full details, but I would love an idea of what is being planned and dates. I have many opportunities to go to the world in 2010 and limited vacation days. I want to spend my days wisely. All right, well, Scopo, I guess this is already biting me in the butt already, the fast pass thing. But
Right.
Oops.
Wow.
Was that your butt falling?
So yes, the big event we mentioned this on the live show, the very end of the live show this past September live show. But the big news is that we are going to be holding a WDWTA Tent Fest. We had the tent event last year, and Tent Fest we're going to be holding this year. It's going to be in March. Is it the 5th through the 7th, Annette?
Yes, it is. We want everybody to just enjoy sleeping on the ground.
So we're gonna have.
I'm selling it real well, aren't I?
Yeah,
that's
sleeping on the ground.
Great. The tone of your voice too. Totally.
RVs are welcome.
Yeah,
and a room at the Grand Floridian works too.
Yeah, it's going to be one night at Kept Fort Wilderness, and the other nights, you can stay with places
in the
that have
warmth.
walls, right? But we'll have more details on it. Not very much else to do. We do have a very special event that we're going to be holding. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I know that many of you expressed an interest in doing such an event, and I know that we'll all be down there for it. So it'll be a very fun thing. So there you go, Mary.
We have to do s'mores this time because we did not do s'mores last
totally
time.
do s'mores.
We've got to do s'mores this time.
I like it.
The popcorn was great, but we need s'mores.
Next email is from Jennifer, who's writing to us. I'm listening to episode 621, and the question was asked if you can combine PhotoPass photos from Disney World and Disneyland onto one CD.
I'm going with yes.
Yes, we got actually, also on the live show, someone mentioned that to us. I believe that was Mary Jo Collins. But yes, she writes you definitely can. And Jennifer wrote in to let us know that you can do that. Also, Mike, doesn't say where he's from, but Mike wrote in also to say that you could do that as well. So we thank our listeners for letting us know that you can do that. Next email is from Jillian from East Fishkill, New York, and I'm sure you guys remember Jillian. We did the show with her last Friday, or actually Monday show, to plan her trip. And actually, she had a question that she forgot, so I thought I would throw it in here. She writes,
look, she got a fast pass.
Wow.
Writes, hi guys and gal, if Annette is present. So as soon as we stopped recording, all the questions I forgot came to me. It must have been the nerves that come from recording with such celebrities. Okay.
Was somebody else on the week?
Oh my gosh.
Who else was on the show?
Yeah,
I wasn't on, so this is funny.
Who wasn't on, was he?
So here we go. My family are coming from England. Cheaper to get tickets here or buy them in the UK before they come?
Oh, UK.
UK.
Yeah, definitely cheaper.
Cool. If I do convince everyone to stay on property, yes or no to the dining plan?
So again, I mean, it's you have to be able to get reservations ahead of time. That's the big thing.
You're right.
If you can get the reservations, yeah, definitely.
Segway tours. If we were to do one, which one is better for a large group? And can they cap how many are in a tour? Would we all even be able to do one together?
I like we talked about the World Showcase one. I really like that quite a bit.
I don't think you can go wrong with either one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but still.
Jillian, right? Thanks again, guys, for everything, and I'm sure we can continue with the planning. I'll have some more questions.
Cool.
Next email is from Tony from Somerset, New York, who writes, Somerset, New Jersey, rather, who writes, hello all. We're creatures of habit. We've been in the Disney World at least once per year since our first daughter was born in 2000. Every year, we are there for 6 nights, staying at Pop Century, requesting a room on the same floor of the same section of the same building, rent a car for the week, and eat at the same full-service restaurants: Donald's Safari Breakfast, 50s Primetime Cafe, Hollywood and Vine with characters, Coral Reef, Akershus Royal Banquet Hall, and Crystal Palace.
Really?
Sometimes we cycle between breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but the locations remain the same. This year, we're going soon to take advantage of the free
late August.
I wonder where they ate.
In addition, we're staying for 7 nights instead of our usual 6, which has us wondering where we should use the extra dining credit. Our older daughter will be just shy of 5 years old, and our younger daughter will be about 18 months at the time of our trip. Our daughters are not incredibly adventurous when it comes to food, so we need a restaurant that has some staples on its children's menu: chicken fingers, hot dog, mac and cheese, etc. We would prefer to dine in a park, but we always take a night to walk on the boardwalk and go downtown, so those are options for us as well. What would you recommend for our final full-service restaurant? Scopa?
Well, the one that we mentioned, I think we mentioned on the live show, that I think people should try is it called a Captain's Table? Or Captain's Grill?
Captain's Grill.
I think I've eaten there twice and I've enjoyed it both times. Not too expensive. Very, very nice presentation of the food. The quality was good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit, Mike. I think it's...
Where are they staying? Where are they staying?
They're Pop.
Pop.
Pop. Yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a real good option. It's not terribly expensive, easy to get reservation for, so that might be a good one to try out. And again, Tony, I know that you like your favorites, and I always recommend that everybody at least try at least one new restaurant trip just to kind of change things up. There's lots of great ones out there. If money's not an issue, though, I mean, it's not on your list, and I know we talk about it all the time. Jico, Citrico's, those are really two really good restaurants.
2 young kids, though? What about a buffet like Boma?
A buffet or Boma. Well, I was going to say, don't be scared with the kids because the chicken fingers, the mac and cheese, that kind of food, it's Disney. They have them.
To be honest,
they're going to be friendly.
Buffet, rather than Boma, I'd go for Tusker House, to be honest with you.
Ooh.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But I think it's better than Boma.
What?
Really?
Pretty close. It reminds me of Boma quite a bit.
You're both on crack. I mean, I think
for dinner.
I think Boma is a very good in the park buffet. Does it compare with Boma? Not even.
For dinner? Have you been there for dinner?
Yeah, I'm really not. I mean, the Zebra Domes are good, mind you. That's a dessert.
No, I haven't been there for dinner. That's true.
Yeah, I would rather go to Tusker. That's my personal opinion, but yeah.
All right.
Next email is from Albert Thewat of Nashville, Tennessee. He writes, I'm a new listener and absolutely love the show. I listen to it while I run, and it keeps my mind off of any pain or fatigue I might experience while running. Keep up the good work. Here's my question.
Just keep running. Just keep running. Just keep running.
My family goes to Disney every year during the month of October for 4 days in the parks. Last year, we had the idea of buying 8-day, no expiration tickets and using 4 days last year and 4 this year. Our travel agent said in the long run this would save us money as park tickets prices will certainly go up. The problem is when to book our trip. The problem is when we went to book our trip this year, Disney told us that we couldn't get the dining plan unless we bought a 1-day ticket. When we told them we still had 4 days on our tickets, they said that it didn't matter and that we had to buy at least 1 day more to get the dining plan. What's up with that? And how is that fair? Is there any way to get the dining plan with our situation without having to buy another park ticket? Is this a flaw in the system?
Nope.
It's how they set up the system.
Yep.
They're going to have to get a 1-day base ticket.
Yeah, and that's obviously the same for Albert for annual pass holders, and people such as yourself that have those things. And that's why it's interesting that they can't. I mean, the free dining plan I can understand, but you have to buy a Magic Your Way package, right, Annette?
Right.
And that's of course tickets and your resort stay. So the best thing to do, I mean, it's actually I think it's more advantageous for annual pass holders because you pay the $9 now it is for a ticket, but at least you can just use that ticket you can save it and use it towards your annual pass renewal, and you're gonna have to pay that $79 one way or the other. So it kind of works out in that regard. But I think in Albert's situation, he's definitely at a disadvantage, wouldn't you say, Lon? Because he's got to pay $79 for 1 day.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes you spend more money than you would.
Next email is from Lori G. of Snellville, Georgia, who writes, in November 2007, I was fortunate to be able to stop into the Magic Kingdom on Thanksgiving Day. I was really surprised mid-morning to find a small parade progressing down the usual parade route featuring the turkey that had been, quote, pardoned by the president that day before. I guess you really can't call it a parade since it was just one float, but it was fun to see and must have shown up on TV somewhere as there was a boom camera set up on Main Street to catch the footage. Being familiar with the high level of knowledge possessed by the Disney online community, I'm sure you've already heard a lot about this, but I wanted to send you this picture that I took of the Lucky Turkey in 2007. If I understand the story correctly, he is now happy living out his life at Fort Wilderness. Love the show. As always, keep up the fun and the info. Hope to see you all someday.
That's interesting. It was in Walt Disney World?
Yeah, she's attached the picture, and there's a float with a turkey, I think, sleeping on the float.
He's sleeping?
Yes, Matt, it's sleeping.
He's sleeping, that's right.
I remember seeing that because it started off, hey, Tom Turkey, the president just pardoned you on Thanksgiving. Now what are you going to do?
Sleep through the parade.
That was a great turkey impersonation.
Well, it's funny because when I was in Disneyland, they've got a set of turkeys that were also pardoned by the president. My question is,
how many turkeys get pardoned?
That's what I'm saying. How many guilty turkeys are there in
the They've got to atone for what they did.
I mean, and they know what they did, right?
Oh, yeah. They know it.
You slept right through it.
You remember the turkey incident?
Wow.
I can't believe that. Yes, Matt, he was asleep, though.
Next email. As long as we stick with that story, that'll make me happy.
That's all right. And your dog is visiting some people out in the country.
That's right. They went out to a farm to live.
So next time you go over to Fort Wilderness, you need to ask, where's the turkey?
Where's the beef?
No, where's the turkey?
Yeah.
You need to go find it if he's living over at Fort Wilderness.
Yeah, I'm sure he's really living there. He's also living at Trail's End, I'm sure. Next email's from Joel from Atlanta, Georgia, who writes, "Hello all. I'm traveling to Walt Disney World at the end of the month with my 6-year-old son and have never spent much Disney time outside the parks. So I thought I'd spend a day exploring the hotels and resorts. I have relatives living in the area, so I don't need to stay on property, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to explore some of the resorts. I'll have a car, so transportation shouldn't be a problem, but in some ways, riding the boats and monorails may be half the fun. Here's my rough outline for a touring plan for the resorts, but I'd love to get some guidance here." And he has here, drive to the Animal Kingdom Lodge, drive to All-Star and Pop Century resorts, drive to Caribbean Beach, then drive to Coronado, drive to Downtown Disney, boat to French Quarter, boat back to Downtown Disney, drive to Boardwalk Beach Club, eat, explore, drive to Magic Kingdom parking, monorail to Polynesian Contemporary Grand Floridian, monorail to the Magic Kingdom, boat to Fort Wilderness, boat to Wilderness Lodge, boat to back to Fort Wilderness, Trail's End, Campfire, movie, boat back to Magic Kingdom, get car.
Were Saratoga Springs and Old Key West in there?
He said he was taking the boat. Where's that in Disney? He was taking the boat to French Quarter, but you're right, Len. He could take the same boat stops at Old Key West,
right?
The Treehouse Villas in Saratoga.
And from Downtown Disney, you can get to Saratoga Springs. Right, sure. Okay. Right.
Yeah, but
that's interesting.
Yeah, let us know how it goes. I'd be interested to see.
It's all in one day?
That's all in one day. I'm just tired thinking about it.
There you go. We got to.
There's the ultimate resort jumping.
I don't know if you could actually walk around 29 resorts in a day.
It'd be tough.
20 some resorts.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, to get all the way through, like, to do a complete lap around Coronado Springs has got to be 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah. Plus, you think about how many times you have to whip out your driver's license to.
Yeah.
Why are you here? I'm here
you need the fast pass just for security.
All the excuses you have to come up with why you're at the resort. Because if you tell them you're just here to look around, they'll.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do that, sir.
Oh, and you got to figure out where you want to eat lunch and dinner.
That's right.
Choose wisely.
Next email's from Dan from Fontana, California. Writes, "Hello, superior Disney beings. Let me just start by quoting a line from Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with that."
Awesome.
Here's my question. My family and I, me, wife, 4 kids ages 8, 7, 4, and 3, are traveling to the world June 4th through 15th, 2010. I've heard that Gay Days is held the first weekend in June. How will this affect our trip? Will it be substantially more crowded? Will I have conversations with my young kids about alternative lifestyles? As far as crowds goes, would it be better to move the trip later in June?
Interesting question. So in terms of crowds, it generally brings between 100 and 140,000 people to the Walt Disney World area. There are 140,000 more people than would normally be there, so I don't think anyone would dispute that it's going to be more crowded. Generally speaking, though, they designate a different park for their get-togethers every day.
Right.
And if that's something that you wanted to avoid, it's pretty straightforward to do that. Yeah, frankly, I don't know if I would want to be I think we said this before. I don't want to be in a park with 140,000 of my closest friends, let alone 140,000 strangers. So, if you want to avoid the park, do it because of the volume, not because of anything about the people.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I wouldn't worry about the people there.
I've seen teenagers do far. I mean, I've actually gone during Gay Days and not known I was there during Gay Days.
Right.
But so I've seen teenagers at the mall behave far worse than anything that I could have imagined at Gay Days. So nothing bad there at all. We actually had the Queens of the Kingdom on the authors from the Queens of the Kingdom. That's a hysterical podcast for anyone who wants to listen to it.
Yeah, definitely check that episode out. That was a lot of fun, even though I wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just like it's like every other large group.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Cool. Next email's from Bruce. Writes, "I'm going to Walt Disney World looking for the summer of 2010 in August for 5 days. Can you tell me how the crowds are during that time? I've heard they're manageable because the schools in the South are back in session. Your thoughts?"
Well, early or late August?
Late, August 26th.
Shouldn't be that bad.
I'd say
right after the 15th or the 17th. I think there's a quite I don't know. Len probably could know better than me, but I'm thinking, Len, it's noticeable. There's a noticeable drop off between the 15th and the 17th of August onward. Yeah.
That's about
I was just there this past year, and yeah, it's incredible that before we went on the cruise, how crowded it was, and then a week later coming back. And yeah, I think it was 4s on the crowd calendar, if I remember right. Just nothing. It was great.
Next email is from Libby Goldberg, who writes, Hi, I've been staying at Shades of Green for many years, and I was wondering why you guys haven't talked much about this resort.
I can't stay there.
Yeah, you have to be
stay there.
Yeah, you have to be a member of the either retired or active military or a former member of or actually you have to be an employee of the Department of Defense, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why.
They just won't let any of us in that department.
Yeah, so exactly. Did you really want any of us anywhere near the bomb? We've had the hotel team stay there a couple of times, and there's an old section to Shades of Green, and then there's a new section. The old section is, I believe, more like Disney deluxe resorts. The rooms are pretty large, they're well appointed, and they're spacious. The newer rooms, I think, more like Disney moderates, but they're every bit as nice as Disney moderate. The interesting thing about Shades of Green is that the amount you pay is based on your rank in the army, or in the military. So the lower your rank, the less you pay, I believe, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which is interesting. So it's typically less expensive than a typical Disney resort. Cool.
Yeah, I've heard great things about it. It's just the bus service is not so great because it's its own bus service, so it's kind of like on the level of the downtown Disney buses.
Right.
But I'm surprised we haven't done one episode about it yet. I thought we did, but maybe we'll have to find someone who's
break in. What we can't.
I know what we could do. Let's sign up Newell for the Marines.
There we go. Hey,
won't mind.
there you go. He won't mind, and he'll be low rank, and so the price will be right.
Yeah, it'd be like $60 a night.
This is an appropriate question, Annette. It's from Adam, a.k.a. Goldie Wilson for mayor. Goldie Wilson. I like the sound of that. Writes, I just recently listened to your tent event show, and it really seemed like you guys had a good time. I personally love Fort Wilderness, and yes, every time I go, I stay in a tent. I laugh at all those softies that stay in their plush RVs. Hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Wow.
I am a softie. I will admit it. Yes.
I prefer to rough it, and by rough it, I mean go camping at campgrounds with high-speed internet connections, cable television hookups, and giant chipmunks that sing and dance to campfire songs.
Yeah, well,
Wait, we didn't have all that.
Crazy.
Wait a minute. We had the air mattress that did not have air in it.
Anyway, that's what we'll do this year at Tent Fest. Anyway, I'm not sure if you guys were serious about putting on a Tent Fest, which we are, but I think it would be a great idea. I'm normally not a person that participates in the Disney fan events that are put on from time to time, for example, Mouse Fest, but I'm pretty sure I would have to sign up if you guys really did decide to do the event. I only ask that you do it during the wintertime because, as lovely as steam roasting in tent may sound, I think it would actually be a little too hot. Okay, way too hot during the summertime. Thanks for putting on a great show, and maybe sometime before I start collecting my Social Security 38 years from now, I'll hear my email on the podcast.
That's awesome.
No. Now we expect to hear from him because he should be the first one to sign up because right. March has to be cold enough to go.
Yeah, we did it last year in March, Annette.
Yes,
and it really
I was freezing.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was nice in the daytime, and it was a little chilly at night, which I think is good for like sleeping outside because you want to be a little cool, not a little hot.
It was not so cool in the morning. It was cold. Cold.
Next email is from Gilbert, otherwise known as Animal King at w2wtoday.com. Hoorah! He's from West New York, New Jersey. He writes, I wanted the username Animal Kingdom King, but that name was one letter too long. Don't you hate when that happens? Anyway, Gilbert writes, food question. I am a recent Disney Vacation Club member, Animal Kingdom Lodge, annual pass holder, and a member of Tables in Wonderland 20% discount. Hate the name change. Heading down for the first week in June. I'm sure he means 2010 because we would never be behind on these emails.
No, there's no way.
No way. Solo adult traveler, possible 1 or 2 adult friends may join. Typical for me to skip big breakfast most mornings, but most of the time, usually by my second or third day of park hopping, I take it easy and have a late start with a big breakfast. I will do lunch at Flame Tree Barbecue Pit for lunch at Animal Kingdom or Tusker House. Dinner are my favorites, Tokyo Dining, Spoodles, and at least one night at Yachtsman Steakhouse. When I used to stay at the Yacht Club, I would eat at the Crew Cup Galley Bar, ordering off Yachtsman menu. It's a great tip right there. I have not, as of yet, eaten at Animal Kingdom Lodge, so I'm looking forward to both Jiko and Boma. Did the coffee bar by day, sushi bar at night at the Polynesian Resort close? Always looking for good sushi at Disney. Was very disappointed with the sushi at the Swan. Native New Yorker, part-time Fort Lauderdale resident, so that does make me part Southerner. So Len, yes, the bar over there at Kona is still open. It's definitely for sushi.
Oh, it's fabulous too. We talked about it a little bit on the live show. I had sushi there when I was there in August, and I got a chance to speak with the sushi chef, and apparently they were handpicked from the California Grill because of their sushi expertise. So they were serious about what they're doing over there. Really liked it quite a bit. I mean, I really liked it a lot. I'd go back in a second. Very, very limited menu though in terms of, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but everything that they're doing is really good.
Cool.
Very fresh too.
And you can also order off the regular Kona menu over there. So if maybe you like sushi a lot and the person you're going with doesn't, that's okay. You can order off the Kona menu. Next email is from Tanya from Indiana, who writes, Dear Matt, Mike, Len, and sometimes Annette, our vacation will run to the Tower of Terror 13K race. Can you explain what this is and how this will affect the parks? We'll be having a family coming in on the Thursday before, and Hollywood Studios is one of their favorite parks. Still loving the show. Let's go. But you actually, Len, you also ran in the race. Do you want to explain the? I know you ran in 07. It was or 08 rather, 07.
07.
Yeah, 07, and they improved things for 08 because I know that neither of you were big on it in 07. But can you kind of talk a little bit about the race?
Well, the race takes place at night, and the first race was a 6.5K and a 13K. I believe it's all 13K now.
Right.
And which is about 8.8 miles, and it starts. The start is around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and you go out to the World of Sports, and then you come back through the back entrance of the studios, and you run through the back entrance into the Lights, Motors, Action Stunt Show, and then you finish off running through the streets of the studios. And one of the problems I had with that is that I just don't like the sharp turns and you're turning left, you're turning right.
The end of that was the end of that was kind of
not good, especially at night, especially with sidewalks and stuff like that. I mean, the footing just didn't suit me. I like long straight runs. So and it just seemed kind of weird. The run through the World of Sports was kind of weird because we're running at night and we're running through mud, and the best part of that was running on the track. Coming back, one of the problems that a bunch of us had, there were about 20 of us that were coming. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Len, but there's one point coming back on that course where you're coming down a ramp, and the ramp was really banked to the point where everybody was complaining about their knees. So we all stopped. We all looked at each other. What are we doing? So we walked down to the bottom of the ramp, and then we started running again. So it was kind of crazy. I guess I'm not sure if this is going to be something that's going to be continuing every year, but I just was not impressed with it enough so that I would do it again. I'm also not a nighttime runner, so
no.
There's also a 5K that they're doing this year, but you're right, Scopa, they're not doing. This is the last year for the race.
Good.
But there is a party that you can go to if you're not going to run. I'll be at the party there, so Tanya, if you're going to be there, hopefully I'll see you.
If there's ever
those running don't want to go to the party? Is that?
Is that what you're saying?
Basically.
Okay.
Basically. Well, it's time for our last question of the day, and usually we have Mike Newell do this, but he's a bum and decided not to come. So instead, we will go to Mr. Mike Scopa. So I'm going to give Scopa 3 questions to answer, one of which will be answered today. The other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later.
Wait, I thought if you didn't answer it right, a giant tiger jumped out. And no, wait, that's the wrong thing.
Maybe that's where Newell is.
Are you ready, Mike?
I am ready, sir.
All right, here are your options. An answer, a comment, and a missed it by that much. Will they make it? Now I'm scared.
Now I'm scared.
All right. Last email of the day comes from Brett in New Hampshire. Cousin Mickey doesn't talk about on www.today.com. Hoorah! And, of course, he writes the cousin Mickey doesn't talk about.blogspot.com. Anyway, Brett writes, I think the cold in New Hampshire freezes people's brains and affects them over the long run. When Scopa gave his opinions on the poo ride, it was like listening to myself, and that scares me. Now to the actual comment. Newell needs to find a way to take back the ding. Hearing Scopa's ding is like getting hit with a sonic boom. After you automatically look around and make sure none of your windows shattered, and then check your ears for blood. Newell needs to upgrade. I'm thinking a gong should suffice. I bet the first time they sets that off, Scopa falls out of his chair. Let me know. Very nice. Just let me know first so I can get some earplugs.
That's
Oops.
awesome. Oops, doodle.
Very good. Well, thank you, Brett, and thank you, Scopa. And that's gonna do it for us today. Don't forget that this episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by AMI and Mouse Fan Travel. And if you're going down for perhaps the Tower of Terror 13K, or maybe a trip later on, in fact, we just announced the tent event, the Tent Fest. And you're saying, you know what? Sleeping on the ground excites me. I want to be there. Because maybe not so much you want to be there, but because you want to see a net there and complain about it. Certainly, it's something that you got to see it in person to really, truly appreciate it. So, you know what? AMI and Mouse Fan Travel can book that for you. Give them a try. It's www.mousefantravel.com. To find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments at www.today.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, of course. I'm Matt Hodge. See you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.